Alright everyone, this lesson is to discuss formatting in your spreadsheet. Now I already have some formatting here on the bottom line of this spreadsheet. Namely, all of these values here in this row are using a red colored font. You can change the color of the font. Let's change the color of these fonts by moving up here under the home ribbon and clicking on this key. If you click this, it's going to turn them whatever color is here under the A symbol. If we want to change that color to something else, we'll come up here and open up this and we'll change it to that color. If you want to make the fonts larger, you come here, choose the size of the font that you want, or you can click on this to increase the size of the fonts, this one to decrease the size of the fonts. If you want to change the type of the font, here I'll change this from Calibri on to something like Algerian or something like that. Now notice a problem here in the formatting. Since I've chosen larger fonts, notice that this text spills over into the next cell. Okay, as long as it's the last text, it doesn't bother anything, but if it's in the beginning, that's a problem. What we can do is then we can adjust the width of a cell by coming up here next to the column names and simply dragging the columns out. Click on the mouse, drag the columns out to the length that you need them, and there we go. Problem solved. You can also change the width of several columns. If you select them, the entire columns. When you get this black downward arrow, move across, go to the last column, drag it out a little bit. You can see that all the columns increase their width. Okay, now more formatting. We can turn bold on, italics, underline. You can have any combination of those on at any time. Okay? Now, more about formatting. Here, if you'll notice, everything on this sheet is currently set to general format. That is, if it's a number, it's going to look like this. If it's a text, it's going to look like that. Okay, so if we want to change these formats, for example, these are monetary values here. All of these are monetary values. I can change those formats by coming up here and hitting the $sign, and this is the accounting format, and that displays the numbers like that. Now look what happened here in this column. You get a bunch of these pound signs or number signs. That's what happens when a number is too large to fit in the cell. You get a warning sign when you see that, because you definitely want the entire number to display. So I'll drag that out. That solves that problem. Okay, now there are a bunch of other formats you can use. Oh, it looks like I missed one. There are other formats that you can use for numbers. Here, if you click on the number format, there it has 2 decimal places with no $sign. We already used the accounting format. The currency format is similar. Note that currency format has comma signs and the $sign is directly in front of the leading digit. Okay, now let's look at this tax rate here. Now this is 0.2, which may be better off expressed as a percent. So if I come up here and hit the percent format, there we go, it's 20%. Now, is it stored in the machine as 20%? Well, yes, but the 20% is the decimal 0.2, right? Okay, so it's stored internally as 0.2. How it formats has nothing to do with how it's stored inside the machine. Okay, now let's say we want a couple extra digits on that. It's exactly 20%, but we could change that. Just come up here, and this will increase the number of digits. This button will decrease the number of decimal places, digits after the decimal place. Okay, so there's a couple other things we can do. If we don't like the way these numbers are lined up to the right, well, we can change that. We can come over here, change the alignment to center. There, now we've centered all our numbers, if you want to do that. Okay, another thing that you might want to do is, instead of increasing the length of your columns like we did here on all these, you can also get the text to wrap in a cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the wrap on for all these cells in this column. I'll highlight the whole column, then I'll select wrap text, and any value which exceeds its length and spills into the next column will wrap to the next row. Actually, not to the next row, but it will you'll simply have a row that's twice as large as it was now. Okay, I guess I'll do the same thing for all of these. I'll turn wrap text on for every one of these. There. Now, the text wrapped here, as you can see, it's not perfect. So, turns out I won't have much choice but to extend the length of these columns to get these to fit. See, this one word was too large to fit in the cell, so it actually had to split the word in two. Okay, I believe that's a pretty good talk on formatting. So, thank you very much for listening.